Get ready for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Live from my parents' basement, this is the Still Real to Us show, episode number 124, 124 straight weeks of the Still Real to Us show. We've never missed a show. We come here every week and we give you wrestling talk. I can't get any better than this, and that is why we are the Wrestling Podcast Tag Team Champions of the World. It is June 28th, 2012. I am Jeff Peck, joined as always, Redneck Revolution Rise Up. It is Trey, Captain Obvious, Dent. Captain, what's up, my man?
Well, the Redneck Revolution in the house, where we may lose some teeth, but we always find a way to gain a cousin.
That should be like a t-shirt right there.
It just came to me the other day. I was like, that's just brilliant. I think that's just high comedy. I got to go with that.
I tell you what, someday when we get a budget, when I don't have to be in my parents' basement, when Captain doesn't have to be at his kitchen table, and we're sitting in a nice plush studio, and we have all wrestling memorabilia all over the wall, replica belts, we could sell some merch. But in the meantime, it's just, as what we used to say on the Wheelhouse, Business Thursday. It's Business Thursday here on the Still Real to Us show. We already have a t-shirt out there for Captain Obvious.
Well, we do have a good friend of the show who manages several websites. I'm sure he could just float us a loaner website and start putting merchandise out on.
I tell you what, that'd be pretty awesome. And any one of our friends that want to, help out a little bit, maybe make a SRTU merch page, I'm all for it. Anytime you can make some cash off of doing a little podcast like this, I'm all for it. And I'm sure somebody out there listening would definitely be interested in some SRTU merch and wearing it proudly out at the wrestling shows that they may be attending, or even their family reunions or barbecues as we get here in the summer months. But merchandise aside, Captain, it is another week of the Still Real to Us show. End of June already, man. It feels like it wasn't too long ago that I was sitting in the Bauer household doing the 100th episode live, and you were calling in. I know it's cliche and all, but man, does time fly by or what?
Yeah, especially when you have the summer months, because you're so busy between work and in your case, everything you got going on with the fire department and everything else, and working with the Bauer show. It's not like the old days when you were in school. The summer just kind of seemed to last forever. Now it's like boom, boom, boom. It's just one season rolls into the next.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. Captain and I are recording the show a day or two early before here on Thursday, and going off of what you just said there, Captain, I have legitimately worked now 9 straight days, and I'm sure by the time this show airs, I would have worked 11 straight days. So it's been pretty hectic, but it's a good little hectic. And whenever you get the opportunity to sit down here, do a show, and talk with Captain, talk some wrestling for an hour, I think we find in our wrestling nerddom out there, we find a little bit of peace in being able to talk some wrestling for an hour with you guys. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good show. I know it will be a good show, actually. And we have a ton of things to talk about. We have an announcement for next week's show. Being 4th of July week, we'll answer your questions on Facebook. We'll talk about the WWE's Top 50 Finishers DVD list. It was revealed, but like Captain and I, and this is amazing, this is the pros that Captain and I are, we didn't even talk about this before the show. Segueing, transitioning. We were talking about in the beginning there how time flies. Captain, a year ago yesterday, June 27th, 2011, was the now famous, what we call on this show, CM Punk pipe bomb promo when he came in during a John Cena R-Truth match at the end of Monday Night Raw, a week after being named the number one contender. He was the number one contender for Money in the Bank. He took out John Cena. R-Truth won in some sort of, I believe it was a tables match. And CM Punk, in a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, took a microphone, walked up to the top of the stage, sat cross-legged, Indian cross-legged, for all you people who remember it as youngsters, and began spewing one of the most famous promos in wrestling history, in my mind, and at least for today's era, by far one of the most influential promos. And it's only been a year, and there's still a whole bunch of time to talk about this promo. But here we are, Captain, 1 year later, the CM Punk pipe bomb promo, the pipe bomb. Is it amazing that now, 1 year later, because I can remember, my man, that we were, actually it was Eric Cardjula and I, that week we were going to do like a 2-week vacation for 4th of July week, and we changed everything up immediately once that promo hit, and we talked about that promo and other famous promos of all time for that show. You could actually check that out still over at wheelhouseradio.com in the archives, season 2. But is it amazing that 1 year later, it doesn't feel like a year, and the CM Punk pipe bomb promo has reached its 1 year anniversary?
No, you're right. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Like, unfortunately, like that night, I was actually at work, so I actually missed the promo live. So I get home, I check Twitter, and Twitter is just exploding with all the stuff that happened in the promo, and I'm like YouTube surfing everywhere trying to find it. And it wasn't until like the next morning that I was actually able to find a complete, a complete uncut version of the promo. And here it is a year later, and it really did change wrestling as we know it, because he went from a guy who was rumored to be leaving the company. He was burnt out. He wasn't going to come back. And if he did come back, was he going to go back to Ring of Honor? Was he going to go to TNA? Was he going to give him the belt for a short run, maybe just to try to appease him? And then that promo, I mean, it changed the course of the WWE.
Oh, it certainly did. I fully expect that, or believe that if CM Punk never cut that promo a year ago, CM Punk could be in a completely different company right now. I would say that would be more of the minimum rather than, something that would happen. I don't think CM Punk would have gone back to ROH. I don't think he'd gone to TNA. He may have taken some time off, but CM Punk ended up staying, re-signed a contract. And I think, Captain, that when we look back here a year ago, I think it's really safe to say that, and we'll talk about it later, but Money in the Bank 2012, the main event for the WWE Championship will be CM Punk taking on Daniel Bryan. I don't think that match would have happened on pay-per-view, at least this early, had CM Punk never made that promo to close out Raw a year ago.
And it wasn't shortly after Money in the Bank that we actually had that moment in time where I guess the three hottest internet darlings of the wrestling world all held titles in WWE. We had that moment where you had CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder all in the ring with belts around their waists. And it seemed like the dawning of a new era in WWE where they're actually kind of listening not just to, the casual fan, but your hardcore base. We had that moment where it was like, wow, they're actually listening and giving us what we want. And we had that short little run there for about a month or two where we were getting exactly what we wanted. And then the course kind of diverted again. So,
Yeah. I remember that Monday Night Raw where they opened up with Punk, Bryan, and Zack Ryder. I think it was towards the end of 2011. All champions, and the crowd, it was in Philadelphia. The crowd loved it. People were excited. They were happy. And it looked like a great moment for the future of professional wrestling. Obviously, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have stayed on top of their game. Zack Ryder, not so much, unfortunately, for you Zack Ryder fans out there. But definitely the promo changed the course of the WWE. A lot of people said that CM Punk was, going back to Zack Ryder, was very influential for Zack Ryder getting his push there. I mean, he may have been fired by now. You know, his YouTube show may have been forced to be shut down by the WWE. He may have not even gotten a United States Championship title shot at Dolph Ziggler towards the end of 2011 had it not been for that CM Punk promo.